What up guys, Blade Master here, finally back with some more Total War Rome 2 online action, and this is the replay between TWR Danko and Achilles. So this was the second round of the No Holds Barred tournament. Sorry it's been taking a while. I actually recorded a commentary over this, and actually I did a really good job at it. But the problem was I forgot to turn like the usually I turn the in-game audio like really down, so it basically the music volume was all fucked up, so I have to redo it. So that's why it's taken a bit of time. But anyways, we can see Danko, he's taken Seleucids, and Achilles has taken Parthia. Danko has gone with a very unorthodox build, as is the case with most of the matches in this tournament. He's brought a total of 3 shield bearers. Actually, let's see if we can get a better look at it later. I'll go over Achilles' build now because Danko's like moving up and can't really see his army. So we can see on the left for Achilles that he's brought a total of 4 horse archers, 3 mercenary Sarmatians, 1 noble horse archer general. Of course, there's no limit on bringing horse archers. It's not like there was a max of 3 or anything. So besides them, he's brought a total of 5 noble blood cav, if I recall correctly. 2 on his left, 1 in the center, 2 on his right. Also brought 1 extra eastern cataphracts unit. Finally, 3 mercenary hoplites, 3 shield bearers, 3 Persian hoplites, and a couple of eastern slingers and a couple of Parthian foot archers. He's moving up in front with his horse archers really early on in the game, trying to get some shots off quickly on Danko's army. Now let's see what Danko's brought. He has brought a very unorthodox build, like I mentioned earlier. He's brought a total of 3 shield bearer units, no 4 shield bearer units. And 3 TWR spears, 2 on his left, 1 on his right, and a total of 5 Median cav, 1 Hillman unit, only a couple of Persian light archers, which is very weird. And finally, the main killing force for him would be from his side chariots unit, which you can see over here. And it looks like he's going to move with them pretty early on, really early on in the game actually. But it's going to be tough for him to get anything worthwhile, because he's going to charge head on into mercenary hoplites. And here, take a look, those are some noble blood cav who have come to intercept them, and that's not going to go very well for these chariots. So they've been bogged down pretty easily first off, and now these hoplites are in hoplite phalanx, so it's going to be incredibly tough for them to pull through. And 3 of them have pulled through the gaps, and they're basically massacring Achilles' archer line. But besides that, 7 out of already 2 of them have died. They've only got around 50 to 60 kills, but now there's a big engagement going on in the, all throughout the battlefield. Median cav are charging into noble blood cav. Some more Median cav have been caught by Persian hoplites. But now this is going to be the main killing force of Danko. Now that he's lost his chariots pretty foolishly, I must admit. His shield bearer line is going to engage with these Persian hoplites and these mercenary hoplites as well. So let's take a look at this. 86 kills only with his chariot. So that's a huge disappointment for Danko, and it might look like the game has slipped from his hands, in the first minute. But shield bearers are very capable units. I mean, the only reason I say that is because they're up against lower tier spear units, that is mercenary hoplites. Here, some eastern cataphracts are charging into these Median cav, and they've basically slaughtered them. And there's just a massive blob over here. These eastern cataphracts have already got 60 kills, but now they're just taking concentrated fire from these 4 archers and a couple of these Persian light archers as well. There's a lot of friendly fire going on in this area, I would think. Around 8 of them have died, and now over here these noble blood cav of Achilles got a pretty decent rear charge onto those shield bearers. They did get caught by Median cav, but they should be able to outlast them. But these shield bearers, even though they've got attacked in the rear, they have incredible morale, and they're basically one of the best spear troops that you can get for your money. So no matter how many rear charges you can get with something like a noble blood cav, it's not really going to matter too much. What will matter more is him using his eastern slingers and Persian light archers more effectively. Now these noble blood cav are being shot at by TWR spears. These are Achilles' noble blood cav, obviously, and he's got another pretty decent position here. I think if he gets a couple of consecutive rear charges onto one unit, he needs to focus on one shield bearer unit and bring it down, because there's no point in trying to focus on 2 or 3. They've got incredible armor, so it's doing a couple of rear charges will make them lose only like 10 or 20 men. But if you do that on just one unit, then you can probably take one out. His mercenary hoplites are lasting, but they aren't getting many kills at all. Meanwhile, the shield bearers, take a look at this: 62 kills with 1 casualty. Here, 10 casualties with 32 kills. This shield bearer unit hasn't done as well, but he's got extra shield bearer units who are just basically trying to flank these mercenary hoplites. And these Persian hoplites are wavering now because even though they're pretty decent units for the price, they are very low tier spears. So they're not going to last against an elite tier spear unit. Now 2 median cav have engaged Achilles' 1 noble blood cav. Here we can see that even though Achilles had a huge upper hand at the beginning of the battle, he basically wasted it, unfortunately, because he was too overconfident with his cavalry, and he overextended with them. Like this blob over here with his noble blood cav and his eastern cataphracts didn't really need to happen. And you know, if he had used them a bit more you know, conservatively, maybe you know, he could have protected a lot more of his cav. But it almost looks like he's wasted that early advantage that he's got, because he's only got one melee cavalry unit left, and it's basically down to half strength. Now he's forced to rear charge these shield bearer units, but take a look at that devastating javelin toss from those TWR spears. He is focusing on that general unit, which is smart. It's a smart move. And they're already down to 90 men, which doesn't sound like much, but when they're up against mercenary hoplites, that is a lot. Now this is another smart move by Achilles. He's moving his horse archers over here so that they can take rear shots onto these shield bearers. There's basically no other use for these guys unless you can take rear shots on these heavily armored units. 115 armor is just incredible. Like, there's very little chance that you'll be able to kill them off with front shots. Now Parthian foot archers have been doing pretty okay. 47 and 77 kills, it looks like, something like that. No, it's only 8 or 9. Actually, it doesn't really look like he's got a lot of his money's worth from those archers and from the slingers. But here, his Persian hoplites have died, and this has created a pretty big gap in his line, which Danko is going to fill with his noble blood cav. Here he's putting them onto a very thin formation so that he can catch as many archers and slingers as possible. That'll be a big blow for Achilles. He's already caught one of his eastern slingers, but now Achilles has brought some of his horse archers to support this so that he can kill them off. He needs his archers and his skirmish line to last as long as possible, because they're basically his only hope at this point to win. Here you can see these mercenary hoplites are losing this combat. He did get a rear charge with his Persian hoplites, but TWR spears are there to counter rear charge them. And you know, these shield bearer units they've only got 6 casualties and they've killed 86 units. What? That is just absolutely incredible. But it looks like some of these mercenary hoplites aren't doing too bad, but that's just the thing, it's just a huge power gap. You know, it's the shield bearers are just so much better than regular mercenary hoplites or Persian hoplites that they will always win that type of engagement. The killing force behind the Parthian build, or behind Achilles' Parthian build, was his cavalry, but unfortunately he lost them pretty early on in the game. So now it's looking very difficult for Achilles to pull this off. He is getting good shots off with his Parthian foot archers, and take a look at that. You know, 59 kills with them, not bad. He's put them on precision shot, and here he's just taking some great flank shots. This is basically more of what he needs to do. He's taking good flank shots onto these shield bearer units, and that's where they're going to die. Of course, they're dying very slowly, but that's better than taking front shots at them. Now, the state of the game currently is that basically Danko has got all sorts of melee infantry, whereas Achilles has got all sorts of missile troops. So it's going to be a pretty tough challenge for Achilles to pull this out, because even he's only got one mercenary hoplite left, and these TWR spears are just doing great amounts of damage on these noble horse archers, which is going to destroy his Achilles' general if he doesn't take care of them better. But still, I mean, it doesn't look... Wow, take a look at this actually. Wow. I love this blood mod, GBJ's blood mod. Holy shit, this looks amazing. I mean, it looks terrible, it looks like a carnage, but it looks amazing as well. But yeah, coming back to the game, these noble horse archers are getting slaughtered by those TWR spears. He really needs to do a better job of microing them, because otherwise, other than them, he doesn't really have much of a chance of winning this game. Danko has got one more Persian light archer unit, which Achilles should have killed off earlier on in the game. He hasn't. But he has the opportunity to do so now. He should kill them off as soon as possible, and then he should try and focus on these shield bearers, because that's the one last basically missing troop that that Danko's got. And those TWR spears are, I mean, I would expect them to be out of ammo by this point. They do have incredible amounts of ammo, but you know, it's nothing compared to like an archer unit or a slinger unit. Now, Danko is just going to make like a quasi box kind of. And this is a pretty interesting tactic that he's doing over here. For those of you who don't know, these if you put your units into a very thin formation, like Danko is doing over here, it presents slingers and archers with a much harder target to kill off. Whereas if you present them in a small blocky formation, it's very easy for them to aim and kill off your troops. So smart move by Danko, putting them into thin formations. But what Achilles is doing is very smart too. He's countering that by just aiming at units who have their flanks turned to him. So these TWR spears, who can be quite a pain in the ass if left unchecked, because they are medium spear infantry, so they can run quicker. So 99% this game is going to turn into a match of cat and mouse. So they will, you know, they will be quicker than these shield bearers, and they might even catch some of his troops. So it's best to kill them off as soon as possible. Now, Achilles has got only 3 mercenary Sarmatian horse archers. It looks like they're almost out of ammo, and his noble horse archer is just chilling there. He's only got 36 units left. It really looks like it's going to be tough for Achilles to pull this out of the bag. But he's engaging with one of his Parthian foot archers. No real need to do that. But he has pinned down these TWR spears unit, and he's getting concentrated fire with his slingers and his archers onto the flanks of them. And you know, they're already, you know, very exhausted. So, and on top of that, if they're getting, you know, a slinger fire and stuff, it's a good chance that they'll start to waver. I think they did start to waver for like a couple seconds there. I'm not really sure. So we can just go ahead and fast forward this. As you can see from the timer, there's another 10 minutes, which means that, you know, this game lasted for quite a while, and a lot of it was this. They just keeping on firing into the rears of enemy units and stuff like that. But this is another pretty good move by Danko, micro by Danko basically. Instead of setting attack orders, what he's been doing is he's setting move orders with his TWR spears. And what that does is it doesn't activate the skirmish AI for the enemy unit. The skirmish AI is a lot more iffy if you if you just use move orders instead of attack orders. And once he got close enough, he did manage to catch a couple of those Parthian foot archers. So just another pro tip, if you ever face a situation like this, which in all fairness, I mean, that's the chances of that happening is quite high. A lot of games tend to go on like this, especially when you have an enemy who has slingers. And see here, you can see another move. He just issued a move order to his shield bearer units. And you know, I'm pretty sure Achilles, if you're watching this, let me know. But I'm pretty sure Achilles was manually microing his units in this case. I didn't really know that Parthian foot archers can fire while moving. It looked like they fired off a volley while they were moving, but those TWR spears have got a couple of shots. That's a good move. He got a couple of shots on the rears of them, and while they were wavering, just in that split second, he issued a war cry with his general, and that's got these guys to shatter, which is very good. That's another big boost for Achilles. That means he's only got 4 units left at this point. No, it looks like he's got 5 units left at this point. But he does have 2 slingers, and I think they are basically full strength. Let's take a look. No, one is at half strength. The other one, he's got one at 74, one Eastern Slinger at 64. So I mean, he's got decent amount of units. The problem is that he's out of heavy shot with all of his horse archers. He does have one noble horse archer, which can prove to be quite the pain for Danko, because they have incredible melee. Take a look at this: 41 melee attack, 34 weapon damage. You know, decent charge bonus at 22. Their melee defense is terrible, however. 21 melee defense is terrible, and when they're going to get attacked by something like a shield bearer unit, which has a pretty decent attack against in general, and has a 20 bonus for his large, so that means they have a 63 melee attack against enemy cavalry. So combine that with their with noble horse archers 21 melee defense, and that means that you know, he basically needs to charge in, knock them over, and then immediately run either through them or run behind. Now that's kind of what he's doing with his mercenary Sarmatians. He honestly didn't need to do this though, because first of all, these guys' charge is terrible. Their melee attack on top of that is terrible. So there's no like chance that they're ever going to kill more than 1 or 2 shield bearer units. And in the meantime, you know, with their poor morale, some of them have even shattered. So you know, that turns out to be a net loss for for Achilles. Probably didn't need to do that. Here he's put Intimidate on one of those shield bearer units. Didn't really need to do that again because they don't really have any special abilities except for, you know, Hoplite Phalanx, and there's no point of him putting Hoplite Phalanx. Instead, he should have used Intimidate on his general. But again, those are just, you know, minor, not really minor things, but it's very understandable if in the heat of battle, you know, an opponent doesn't really think to do that. He could have rear charged or front charged this shield bearer units, this shield bearer unit, but instead he didn't really do either, and he's just got a couple of his units caught. But it looks like he is going to charge these Thoria spears, which makes for a much easier target. And you know, there's a good chance. Oh, very smart move by Danko. He's put raised banner on his Thoria spears, which increased their morale. Their morale is at 51 now, which is good. But he did get charged at by a noble horse archer, and you know, they are getting slaughtered by these slingers. So there's a good chance that they were wavering again, but they've stopped. So again, I think it's probably because of the raised banner. If he didn't put that on, maybe this good chance that this Thoria spear would probably have died. Let's keep fast forwarding now because this could get a bit boring. Again, he popped a war cry with his general. Not a good move because he mistimed it completely. He should have. Oh, that's a devastating volley there by those Eastern Slingers onto that shield bearer unit. That's a good move. Oh shit! God damn it! Let me put this back. Oh no! Oh no! Come on, stupid debug cam. There we go. Alright, we're back. So he actually did a really good move over here. He's put Intimidate on his general, which is good. But what is more important is he got a couple of devastating volleys from his Eastern Slingers onto the flanks of that shield bearer general. But he used his war cry. He mistimed his war cry basically. He should have timed it just when he was about to attack the shield bearer, this Thoria spear unit. Actually, if he had used a war cry on that shield bearer gen, on top of, you know, those two devastating volleys from those Eastern Slingers, there's a good chance that that gen would have routed. And in that case, you know, the tide would have turned completely. This shield bearer unit has only 14 men, and it looks ripe for a charge because they're also in a very thin formation. And noble horse archers, I mean, they are very good units. They do have pretty decent armor and very high health. So, you know, there's a good chance that he might, you know, come out as the winner in that charge. He did get a front charge onto those shield bearer units. And let's take a look at this. 13 men left and 27 horse archers. Oh, damn. So I think it, you know, even though he did get he got an okay charge onto those shield bearers, it didn't matter because a lot of his horse archer units actually died from that engagement. Let's keep fast forwarding here. His general is getting very close to those Eastern Slingers. Achilles goes in for a second charge, trying to kill off these shield bearer units. But there's a Thoria spear which is right there, ready to protect and kill off the last remaining horse archer units. He's killed off another, or Danko has killed off another, you know, 8 or 9, no, more than that, 10 units. He's only got like, now Achilles only got 15 horse archer units left. I'm pretty sure his general is still alive, because if he wasn't, this game would have been done. These Eastern Slingers would have definitely routed at that point. We can still take a look. Yeah, see, eager general nearby, so that's good. That means his general is still alive. And in that case, you know, Achilles still has a small chance, albeit a fighting chance, to win this game. He just needs to focus on one unit. That's what he needs to do. He needs to kill off that general, Danko's general. That's basically the only way he can win this game. It's pretty clear. Yeah, Danko's general is still alive. There's no, you know, general dead morale penalty which has been applied yet. So let's keep fast forwarding. He's baiting those Thoria spears. He's been doing this a lot with his noble horse archer general to pretty decent effect. He's been baiting, like feinting a charge on some Thoria spears and then pulling away, just trying to get their backs to his slingers and just using that time to kill off as many troops as possible. Because slingers can only be really worth it if they can aim at the flanks or at the rears of Hellenic troops. There he's popped an Intimidate. The general was wavering for half a second. I don't know what did he run out of war cry, or did he mistime it or something? I'm not really sure. He should have put a war cry on that general. Anyways, an Intimidate is a good ability to use anyway, because in that case the general wouldn't be able to use rally or raise banner or anything. Danko's caught some of his noble horse archers, and it really looks like this game is not going to go in Achilles' favor. He has managed to waver one of those Thoria spears. The general is still alive. He needs to put a war. Oh, he should have put a war cry on those Thoria spears at the last second. I don't know. Maybe he ran out of it. I'm not really sure. But Some more of his Eastern Slingers have been caught by Thuria Spears, and this game is basically over. There's only 1 minute left. He's killed off that Thuria Spear unit, but now he's left with a couple of Shield Bearer units and one which has like 70 men. There's no chance that he's going to pull this out of the bag. And there we go. Danko has popped Ray's banner. All of Achilles' units are routing, and that's the end of this game. Congratulations to Danko. You move on to the semi-finals of the No Holds Barred tournament. And that was a pretty fun game to watch. It was really interesting to see how someone managed to win the game after they lost basically their MVP in the first minute. Those Chariots only got 86 kills, and credit to Danko for being able to pull that off. But I'm quite sure that Danko wouldn't have won if Achilles managed to bring a better Parthian build. Of course, this is a very unexpected Seleucid build from Danko. I'm pretty sure Achilles would have expected something like a Thorax sword line. So for that reason, he probably brought mercenary hoplites. But if he did bring Parthian swordsmen, this game would have turned out very differently. Anyways, guys, that's the end of this battle. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more. Peace.